It is June 1962, and you are standing on a rock in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Behind you are 3 tiers of steel bars, a locked cell house, and guards who count you 14 times a day. In front of you is 1¼ miles of freezing salt water. Every man who tried this before you is either back in his cell, shot, or at the bottom of the bay. Now put the greatest dribbler who ever lived on that rock and give him one night. Between 1934 and 1963, 36 men tried to escape Alcatraz. 23 were caught alive, 6 were shot dead, and 2 drowned in front of witnesses. 5 were never found at all. So here is the question. Could prime Lionel Messi have dribbled out of Alcatraz? To answer this properly, you need to define prime Messi, because the answer changes completely depending on which one you pick. Take the 2011 to 2012 season, when he scored 91 goals in a single calendar year. He was 5'7", about 72 kilograms, with a top speed near 32 kilometers per hour. He completed more than half of every dribble he attempted against professional defenders who trained full-time to stop him. Those are the numbers we are working with. Now look at what Alcatraz actually was. Test 1 is the cell. Each cell measured 5 feet by 9 feet. Messi is 5'7", so he fits, which is more than most of the men in there could say. But you cannot dribble through a steel door, and that is the first thing this analysis kills. The real escape in June 1962 took Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers over 6 months of digging with sharpened spoons. Their advantage was patience, and patience is not a Messi stat. So we hand him the tunnel for free and move on, because the interesting part starts after it. Test 2 is the cell house floor. Alcatraz ran about 1 guard for every 3 inmates, the tightest ratio in the American prison system at the time. On a night shift that is maybe 10 men standing between him and the shoreline. Apply his 60% dribble success rate to each of those 10 men one after another. The math collapses immediately because 60% 10 times in a row is under 1%. But prison guards are not defenders. A center back is trying to take the ball off you. A guard is trying to take you. There is no version of a step over that works on a man holding a rifle on a catwalk 40 feet above your head. And here is where it gets worse for him. The guards in the gun galleries never came down to floor level. You cannot beat a man one-on-one if he never enters your one-on-one. Test 3 is the run to the water. Messi in open space with a head start is one of the hardest humans alive to catch. Over the first 30 meters, he accelerates faster than almost every professional athlete on Earth. The distance from the cell house door to the water is about 120 meters, which he covers in roughly 14 seconds. So we give him this one, and that is exactly where the whole thing falls apart. Because the beach is where dribbling stops being useful. The water in San Francisco Bay sits around 53 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to pull the strength out of your arms in under 30 minutes. The current between the island and the shore runs at up to 6 miles an hour, which is faster than most people can swim at a sprint. Messi weighs 72 kilograms and carries some of the lowest body fat in professional sport, which in football is an advantage and in cold water is a death sentence. Fat is insulation, and he does not have any. The greatest dribbler in history would reach the shoreline in 14 seconds, look at 2 kilometers of gray water, and find nothing in his skill set that applies. So the conclusion is this. He beats the yard, he beats the run to the water, and in open space, he beats any single man on that island. And then he stops because Alcatraz was never guarded by the guards. It was guarded by the bay, and the bay does not care how many times you can beat a man.